Wow, I think we're loud enough here. All right. Well, Brantley is going to be in town, of course, with Kenny Chesney and Jason Aldean at Cowboy Stadium. And we were talking a little bit before. You've never been there before, have you?
No, I hadn't, but I'm bringing my football. I'm gonna show them. I mean, Tony Romo's good at that, you know. I got skills.
Who do you root for? Do you have a favorite team?
Not really. I'm a college guy.
Okay.
More than I'm a pro guy. I actually do like the Cowboys. Cowboys were my favorite team for with like Aikman and
He retired, you know, he hasn't played like 20 years.
No, but back then.
Okay, back then.
I
Okay.
just say it like 20 years, man, it made me feel old. I just turned dirty 30.
Congratulations, by the way, just turned 30.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. But it was fun until like the next, I swear on my life, you're gonna think I'm crazy. Like I'd seen gray hairs and stuff like randomly, but the morning after I turned 30, like the whole left side, my beard over here, it was like, and my beard was long. I tried to trim it out. I didn't actually tell y'all all the way what happened.
Yeah.
So I was trimming my beard and I was trying to trim the gray out of it. And you ever, all right, so when you're shaving or whatever and you use trimmers or you get your hair cut, you know when it does the That's what happened here.
And it got caught in there?
Yeah, so it's a little shorter now.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Now we were talking before we came in here about your style, okay? And because you have a certain amount of style, I gave a term for your style. Do you remember?
Lack thereeof.
Yeah. No, I would say you have a certain style. And you remember what I called it?
Classic American badass.
Yeah, classic American badass.
I like it.
Okay, so we asked some of the folks here to ask you some questions here, and I didn't even have a chance to go through these. So, what song of yours has the most meaning to you?
Oh man, that's a good question actually. You know, all of them. I write all my stuff. I don't write anything about stuff I don't know or haven't been through or witnessed. And, you know, so they're all special to me. You know, they all have their own special meaning. You know, one hell of a name in. The new one is about two guys that drastically changed my life, and that one means a lot to me. But I'll say that I'll go back to a modern day prodigal son, the first record. If y'all hadn't heard that first record, you want to hear what it sounded like before puberty? Check it out. I guess my high notes. I was pinching nipples. Just give them serious. But no, that song I wrote it when I was really young, and it's one that it has a recurring theme in my life, and it's been true throughout the course of my life. So that was pretty solid for me.
You also, a lot of people, you wrote your own stuff, but you've also wrote a lot of music for other guys that became big hits too.
Yeah, you know.
Do a little bragging. Tell people some of the songs that you've written that the guys have recorded.
Well, Jason Aldean cut 3 songs, man. He cut The Best of Me, My Kind of Party, and Dirt Road Anthem. And I had to do a YouTube thing to let people know that Jason Aldean didn't leave Nashville and drive down to Georgia and break into my house and steal one of my babies. You know, and it wasn't like I called him up and was like, hey, I want to sell out. Like, because no, I cut those songs. They're on my records. I still play them every night. You know, the people that I wrote them for and about can hear me play them and hear the track anytime they want to. They'll always be, you know, it's like, who's saying it? Always be my baby.
Yeah.
Is that Mariah Carey? Yeah, no? Oh, shit, okay. But no, he you know, it was actually an honor that somebody of his caliber would see a song that I wrote and relate to it and want to cut it.
It's a big deal. People don't realize. They think that your song was stolen, but actually it's a big deal for a songwriter to have someone like Jason Aldean cut one of your tunes, especially when you're just starting out in the business.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was 17, I started My Kind of Party when I was 17. Honey, I wasn't that bad. I was hung out with some older people. I'm lying again. I actually don't make a habit out of this unless I'm talking to the police. Y'all are lucky. So, it was, especially with Dirt Road Anthem, that was a song that we were talking to some labels in town at that point, and one of them wanted to sign us, and they had, we had a great deal on the table, and they wanted me to release that as my first single, and that was actually the deal breaker. Because I didn't feel like that song was a good representation of what I did as a whole. You know, it was a song that I wrote and I had fun with it. It was a lot of fun. It was cool to write, but it wasn't a good definition of who I was or what I did. And it was a little controversial then. I don't know if y'all remember or not, but the whole, you know, R&B rap vibe in the country thing hadn't really happened yet.
Yeah.
And Aldean was in a more acceptable place, I think, in his career to make something like that happen than I was. And I was kind of glad it took a little stress off of me, actually. Yeah, cut it. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, the whole thing turned out really great. I think, you know, a lot of folks will say they like one version better than the other one. And, you know, that's all based on personal preference. And I'll tell you that Colt and I's version took us about 10-15 minutes to cut. It was done in somebody's, like, literally their bonus room in their house on one microphone. I played one guitar, and then we did vocals and to the same mic and put it up on YouTube, and the song just blew up.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So you can check the Dirt Road Anthem. Yeah, you can check out the original version if you've never heard that. That's pretty cool. Who Jessica? Where's Jessica here? Jessica's right here. She wants to know who your favorite artists are.
Oh, I got a bunch. You know, you talking about like alive or dead, or?
It don't matter. The one that inspired you most.
One that inspired me the most. That's a good question. You know, between Keith Urban and Tim McGraw, both of those guys have played like a personal role in my life and something that I've dealt with. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but December 18th was 3 years sober. I hadn't drank in 3 years. Not to say that I don't condone drinking or I've looked down on it. I like being around people that drink. I drink vicariously through others. It's just not for me. You can only wake up naked on so many beaches. But drinking and driving is one thing. Drinking and flying, completely. I don't even know how I got a ticket.
There's another Jessica. Is there two Jessicas in here? Okay, we got Jessica over here. She asked a series of questions. Question 1, would you ever date a fan? Now, you're engaged right now. You just got engaged, but no, but would you ever date a fan in the past? Have you ever dated a fan?
Set it up.
Should I ask him instead?
No, you know, it was, you have to be careful. You have to be really careful. Number one, anybody you come in contact with in this business is going to carry an opinion with you for the rest of their life. If you rub off negatively on somebody, you know, and you know, every person that person talks to for the rest of their life, if your name comes up, they got their story. And those stories tend to get worse and worse the more time passes, and turn from somebody that just hurt somebody's feelings into somebody that just broke somebody's heart, and in some other cases, do, you know, it's just, stories can get out of hand. And that was something that in my career I was pretty cautious of, and it's kind of a scary thing unless you really know somebody. You know, I mean, I would imagine probably would have been possible, but I would have had a lot of my buddies checking into whoever it was and finding out exactly who they were and what they did, and where they slept, where they ate, and we'd make sure I know more about them.
Well, you know, it's funny you bring that up. Did you hear what happened to that New England Patriots player, Julian Edelman, after the Super Bowl?
No.
He hooked up with a fan, and she snapped a selfie of him sleeping in her bed with her, and then put it all over what was it?
Tinder.
Tinder, yeah, put it all over Tinder, and it said,
Isn't that like the
yeah,
Oh.
and it said, I just slept with Julian Edelman, but didn't use the term slept.
Oh,
Yeah. So you're talking about being careful, but there, you know, you know what you're talking about. I know it's crazy, isn't it? Like,
Y'all got it. And I mean, guys, we crazy too. At some point, I mean, you know what I mean. Ladies, y'all can turn it on. You know what I mean. I've been there's a couple girls that I dated that I knew that weren't fans, and God, it just, you know, My fiance is really, really special, and it takes somebody really special to be with a guy like me because I do like things a certain way, and I'm really forward about what I like and the way I like things done, and I like to be in order. I like things to be in a list where I can visually see them, and it takes somebody who really will keep you in check and not always give you that. If things are a little bit out of order, sometimes she makes that okay. She makes me comfortable with that happening. And she doesn't take any of my shit either. She's 5 foot nothing, but buddy, let me tell you. Tough as nails.
Now, you've known her for a long time. She was like would it be fair to say a childhood sweetheart? I mean, you know, back in high school, dated in high school?
This was right after high school.
Right after high school?
She was in high school, yeah. It was, and I and I were 4 years apart, 3, for like 2 months. But no, she, so, I got in a little bit of trouble, one of the times that I got in a little bit of trouble in my life, and I was kind of doing some community service hours.
Kind of doing community service hours.
Playing some praise and worship music in a church that my cousin, he's a Christian counselor and therapist in Georgia, one of the most coveted in Georgia. He works with a lot of coaches and colleges around the country, and he's a really good dude. At that point in my life, I thought maybe that there was a little bit of a chance that I might want to be a therapist. Thank God that didn't work out. I would have been responsible for more divorce than Facebook and Tinder. But no, it was pretty cool. She was actually she worked there at the church for that too. She was in the youth group, and I met her, and it was kind of something that happened kind of quick. You know, there for about 5 years we were on and off, mostly on and off parts. Kind of had to do with her mom because her mom and I'm not gonna say it was her fault. It was totally my fault. My deal was her mama knew who I hung out with because she went to school with some of these dudes and they were bad. And I mean, the crowd I was running with for a little while was out and up, and they were kind of rough and tough folks, and people knew it. And like I said, she went to school with some of them. Her dad went to school with some of them, so I wasn't getting away with anything.
Yeah.
So, and she was one of those, and y'all hear, you know, the people will tell you that the people closest to you and your best friends will stick with you through anything. And, you know, that's true in some cases, but in mine, I got to a point I was making some decisions. She was one of the people that said, you know what, if that's what you're about right now, I can't be a part of it. And my godson's daddy was the same way. I didn't get to see my godkids a whole lot there for a little while, and that was an important part of my life because it took losing some things to realize what all I was throwing away. I wasn't losing people at all. I was pushing them. You know, and that was, she was one of the people that helped open my eyes to that. And, you know, she was the one that got away for 5 years. We both moved on or tried to anyway. And we're both unsuccessful on that side of things, I think. But,
we saw her recently at the ACMs. Did you take her to the ACM Awards? Yeah.
She was rocking too.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Oh, so check this out. We were doing, you know when you meet with like catering people for a wedding? So we're sitting down tasting food. Just a long story short, there was a fella in there, and not saying anything bad about this. I'm from Georgia. I gotta be careful because people think. But this fella was a little feminine, you know, and did I say it wrong still?
No! You drew us a perfect picture.
I'll try my best. But this fella's sitting down and we're talking about the food for the wedding, and Amber's sitting here, and just imagine this fella's sitting on the other side of you, right? Well, before we got started talking about prices or whatever, this guy goes, okay, so I shouldn't do that.
No, I mean, that's what he sounded like. That's what he sounded like, right? I mean, is that what he sounded like?
Yeah.
Well, then this just makes it more accurate of the story.
He said, can I fan crush real quick? And for me, you know, like I'm not that, you know, that's not really my deal. So it throws me off sometimes, but the dude was funny as hell. He was sitting over here, and I said, I didn't know what to say, so I was like, sure, man, go ahead. Just be careful. He had his cell phone like this, and he leaned across, and he goes, this dress. Talking to Andrew. He didn't want fan crush on me. He liked the dress she wore to the ACM Awards and the AMAs. He was like, what material is that? Like they talked about the dress for 30 minutes. It was so cool, because I wasn't a star in the room for a minute. It was totally.
And that's what the wedding is, a lot of times is about. But I do know, and you can share this with everybody, it's kind of an interesting story. There is one thing that you requested specifically for your wedding, and I think it's at the meal, right?
I'm a mac and cheese connoisseur, man. Everybody's got a snag on something. I'm snagged on mac, man.
So at the wedding, there's going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, is it a macaroni and cheese station?
Yeah. And we're having a real, like, Southern wedding. One of her bridesmaids is due 8 days before the wedding. One of the bridesmaids got a broke ankle. I helped with the wedding yesterday. She called me and she said, okay, I need your help. And I said, all right. Because I'm right on, if she needs me for something, like, I want to make sure that I'm there and I can help and I do my part. And she said, well, I was thinking it's going to be really hot. So your guys can wear like a nice shirt, the vest, and maybe just, I need you to tell me whether or not you like a bow tie or a long tie. And it was an easy choice. I said, we're going to have to go with a long tie. She said, why do we have to? I said, because if you go with a bow tie, you won't see 3 or 4 of them. I mean, my one's got beards. So I helped.
So there you go, yeah. We're going to let people have an opportunity to take some pictures with you, so we want to do that at the end. So I want to get through some of these questions here. We'll give as many people a chance. Lauren and Taylor, where are those two? Where is Lauren? You guys are getting married too?
Yeah.
When are you guys getting married?
In June.
In June. You guys going to have a macaroni and cheese station?
Now we are.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
They want to know, what was your favorite concert that you played?
Oh man, my whole goal in the music business was to sell out the Georgia Theater. And then for a while, there was a little unit of us, it's me and Zach Brown and Luke Brown and Corey Smith. We all kind of did a little circuit in Georgia. It's a smaller state, but a lot like some of the stuff that goes on here. We got the Red Dirt guys that are Texas fellas, and that was kind of our deal. And the Georgia Theater was the big venue for me. It was 15 minutes from home in UGA, or in Athens, where UGA is. Held 900 people, and it was. I thought if I sold that out, then I'd made it. As far as I thought I should ever make it, and everything since then has been a bonus. And we go back there every time we release a record and play a show, and it's definitely probably the funnest one for me.
That's very cool. That's really cool. And they also want to know, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
Just in general.
In general? Is there one on stage that?
There's a pretty funny one on stage. Yeah, a lot of stuff's happened on stage, but one time brings back some pretty funny memories. It's hard to embarrass me on stage because I'm up there acting an idiot. If it looks like I'm having a blast, I am. I'm having so much fun I can't see straight. But one night we were in Cancun, and the stage was right up against the water. I'm trying to make the story short now.
No, you don't have to.
So it was like blowing, there was water blowing off the water and onto the stage, and my crew, I ain't gonna blame it on nobody, but I'm saying they forgot to put something down, and I came bouncing out of the back like an idiot, like I always do, like I'm skipping. I don't know what it looks like. But anyway,
Like a wedding planner? I'm just trying to paint a picture.
That was good. Anyway, dang man, that was good.
That's what I do.
So I went bouncing out on stage and I slipped, and then I kept slipping, and I fell like 3 times in the same fall. Like when you start falling and you think you got it, and you like make all these goofy like movements trying to stay up, and man, I fell like not to my butt, but like I was down like this, and with my hand slipped, I fell on my elbow, It was bad. Then I just finally rolled over like a B-12. Stood up and I took a bow and I said, I'm gonna put a hit out on y'all if y'all put this thing on YouTube as soon as this concert's over.
And it was on YouTube, probably.
For a little while.
Yeah. Where's Shelly Briscoe? Where's Shelly? Shelly's right here. She wants to know about your family. Did you get a lot of music from your family? Is that where you picked up your musical ability?
My mom sings like an angel, and her side of the family is really musical. My dad's side, it was weird. My mom, I learned a lot about my mom's side of the family. She's from Indiana, and my dad was a Georgia fella. And I always wondered where like my mean streak came from, because I had a little bit of a temper. And my dad's got a temper, but he's not really like a, I mean, he'll fight you if he's got to, but he would rather not.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I kind of had a little bit more of a,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it was a competitive thing that made me want to do whatever, but I found out that my mom's brothers and my mom's side of the family was and she's an angel. I've only heard her cuss one time in my life. She caught me dipping. Is this live?
No.
She caught me
It
dipping.
will go up on the internet.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, she caught me dipping, and it was the first time ever she said, "What's in your lip?" I was like 14 or 15. I worked at the feed store, and I was like, I ate a brownie before I left for her. She said, come here, she said, come here, you little shit bird. Listen. I was like, oh, I need to go back to work, and you need to talk to Jesus. This is
Where's Kathy? Kathy, or back there. Okay, well, Kathy knows a little bit about your background, and she asked if you was teaching. A lot of people may not know that. You did some teaching?
Yeah, I did some teaching and coaching. I actually did. That was a lot of fun, especially coaching. Coaching was really fun for me. My little brother says I was the worst coach he ever had. Because, I was harder on him than I was other kids, and he hurt his ankle and came to practice and whining about it and this, that, and the other. And I was like, look, you're getting over the ankle. You're going to play. You might as well just wipe the look off your face, tears out of your eyes, going on the field, you're going to hit people in the mouth. Well, he was also a punter, he's a wide receiver, and he's a free safety. So, and the dude's 6'6" now. I had to use him, especially in that age. He was bigger than all them little kids, and it was just bad, so I had to use him. I needed him. And I rode him that whole game bad. Well, the whole year, really, but that game was awful. Because I thought he was putting on a show and just, kind of acting. Well, he came out of the game, finally, he just walked by, he said, I can't do it. I'm out. I was like, fine, sit down. Wuss, that's my words. And then they took him to the hospital. He had a broken tibia.
How long did he play with the Brook? I mean, how long was he?
That was the second game.
2 games he played with it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I didn't know. What do you do?
But he sucked it up.
Where's Brittany Mason? Where's Brittany? Right there. Brittany over here. Okay. Well,
She was shady about that. She was like, I don't know.
She's probably worried about what question I'm going to ask. First of all, she wants me to take a selfie with her. But we're going to take some pictures. Everybody's going to get a chance to take a picture with you afterwards. So that's a yes.
I didn't mean that in a sexual way.
Well, she wants to know if you could put her name in whatever you can use.
What's your name again?
Brittany.
Yeah.
What would her rhyme with, though?
Whitney?
There you go. Brittany and Whitney, okay. Very nice.
Whiskey. There you go.
Yes.
Whiskey, Brittany.
Yes.
Very nice. Litany.
Oh, be careful. There's always some bad rhymes in every word. You've got to be careful. That's the when we're writing songs. I'm bad about it too. If I come across something that would be really funny in the middle of a serious song, like I'll throw it out. And it throws co-writers off sometimes, especially guys that haven't wrote with me. And I mean, it's pretty fun. Rodney Carrington, y'all know who Rodney
Yeah,
Carrington?
very well. Yeah.
He called me. I met him in Tulsa, and he said, "Man, I love songwriting. I'm into that songwriting stuff." And I said, "Hell yeah, man! I've heard some of your stuff. I'm a big fan of his. He writes a lot of funny stuff."
Mm-hmm.
He texted me one night and said, "Man, I just wrote this on a plane coming back from Tulsa." I was like, "All right, well, I'll check it out." And I read it, and it was real serious. And then it got to a line that said, "My heart's this and cold and black, but hopefully she can see through all that crap." Just crap's not something we use regularly. I thought that was the part that was kind of getting funny, and that's all he had so far, and I was like, man, that's hilarious. He's like, yeah, I'm serious. Just gotta be careful.
Gotta be careful. Where's Abigail? Where's Abigail? Abigail's back there. She wants to know do you have a favorite song of all the ones you've written?
Probably modern day prodigal son thing. I was talking about this, probably still my favorite.
Well, let me ask you about the one that was your first hit, Country Must Be Countrywide. Is there a story behind that? Did you have an awakening or something when you were on the road or something?
Me and Colt both had just got back from our first tours up north. And I wouldn't say I was raised to believe my granddaddy was huge on the Civil War. And I thought there was a bunch of Yankees up there, you know what I mean? And I had no idea. We got up there, and I mean, there's country folks. Y'all wouldn't believe it. When we played in New York, there's people that, look, I was under the impression, I guess, that New York itself was a city, and not state too, you know? I don't know where that came from, but I remember, like, we were playing, and they said that Times Square they were having traffic problem. All these huge trucks were coming through town, all these jacked up trucks, and they were screwing up all the cabs, and like, it was awesome. But we just, in every city, we realized that there's folks, and they ain't seen their country sale. Like, and you go to some of them, and you know, you can tell when folks just left the boots, etc., or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Just bought their stuff.
I'm country tonight, by God.
Yeah.
No, it don't work like that, but that's a nice hat.
Well, we're going to give an opportunity for folks to take a picture with you here today, and on behalf of everybody who's watching this on YouTube. Brantley, it's a pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.